Ciao everybody, I'm your big bro Kanetsu, and welcome back to Storytime Thursday, the light version of the monologue one. I'm really glad that you liked the previous episode, so here I am again sharing another little bit of my story. If you're new here, it's best if you go back and watch previous episodes, so you know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to link it up here, but you can hit subscribe by accident too. Anyway, let's go back to the story. It was the year 2000 and unfortunately the world didn't end, I guess. But my world was going to change forever. And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but let's just judge it at the end. Until the year 2004, all the guys in Italy were obliged to go and serve in the army for 1 year. And at your 18th birthday they will call you to take a medical exam to see if you're fit enough. I don't really know what their metrics are, but they used to touch your balls. Funny how only doctors had touched mine so far. But it's here that most guys were praying for a discharge. After all, no one wanted to go, especially when all the other guys will tell you how horrible it was. Most of the time it was to scare the rookies, but a lot of guys were scared to go in the army because of these stories, me included. But still, you have 3 options if your body is qualified. Number 1. Go where they tell you to go for 10 months and for almost no pay at all. Number 2. Apply to some kind of civil service because you don't like the army. Number 3. Voluntarily apply 1 year in the army. Choose where to go and get minimum wage. And guess what I did choose? Number 3, of course. You know I like money. In civil service you have to work with children or the elderly, and I'm just not that guy. So I chose to go to the corps that's closer to home and I kinda like. And that's a corps of engineers, I guess. I don't really know how to translate army stuff, so all the military names might be wrong. So in December of 2001 I started my training, and we are not placed in our final destination yet. We train. It's not really a training camp, the one you usually imagine.
Do you mean to tell me that you cannot do one single pull-up?
We just learn to march for the day where we say our oath. So technically, if there's a future war, I have to go? Anyway, you get thrown with hundreds of strangers in the same building, and I'm not really the social guy, so I was a bit scared. The first night I was alone at my table and this guy came in front of me. He wasn't new like me, so he was more confident. But I don't really remember all the conversation. I just remember that it tells me that I should believe in myself more. And it's something that has always resonated with me and still does to this day. Because it was the first time that anyone has ever told me anything like that. It doesn't take long for me to make friends actually. I start to like hanging out with this boy because he was hilarious and we had a good time. Even if the first impression I had of him was weird, he basically stomped in our room with his erect dick out because he was having an argument with another guy about penis length. So he was asking for a live measuring contest. That's so stupid. After the off day, we finally go to our destined corps. The first months weren't so great, mostly because I didn't really have my place yet. You know, some guys went learn driving, some guys got in charge of the gun and so on. And I was in the leftovers, I might say. It wasn't enough to be in the army and in a big city for the first time by myself. It was even the lira to euro transition period, so money was really hard to manage. And by the end of the year I got bankrupt. But that's a story for another time. After a while I was able to work in the office, like a mailman of some sort. It was a position that was usually given to the guys that had some sort of graduation, but I was able to promote myself from the guys assigned to make copies to the one in charge. And it was great! I was in contact with all the officers and I had a degree of choice of my future's activities. For example, we had to go guard a place in a mountain and I was in the room with the captain choosing the guys I wanted to come with me. so I could have my friends with me. And doing the guard was something great. It was like a mini vacation, because you got to eat at a trattoria every day and it was relaxing being in the mountains. With my friends, that was the best part. I was close with a bunch of guys. We used to get drunk and play games together. After all, it was the first time I was in a group of people that shared my same interest in music, gaming and anime. It was incredible. I guess that drinking was our favorite way to pass the time, and going to the movies too, I guess. There wasn't much to do other than that. I remember that one time some guys were horny, so we went to a sex work. She welcomed us in her apartment. We were 4 or 5, but most of us got scared, so we got out. I don't know what we were thinking, I mean. It was obvious what was going to happen, but it was like taking turns waiting in the living room while the other one finishes. I wasn't interested to losing the V card that way, but it is a nice story to tell, I guess. But then you don't realize it and 12 months have passed and you have to go back home. You had to leave all the friends you made behind forever. The day I left my friends at the train station was the last day I cried. It was like I knew that my world wasn't going to be the same again, that I wasn't going to have friends like that again. But it was a nice experience. I had a lot of fun and I have good memories from it. And I guess that's all that matters. The hat I have on is the one I used to wear back in the days, and inside of it there's a note left from one of my friends that says: Al miglior furiere e amico. Ciao. I guess that a part of me misses that time, but now I look back at it and I don't resent it anymore. Mostly because I know that I can make friends again, but for a long time I thought that would have never happened. I tried to keep in touch with them and we even had a mini reunion 1 year later, but I guess that after a while we just grew apart. Communication wasn't as easy as today, but probably I just gave up and I left the idea of being happy for a while. I hope you liked this little story. Feel free to ask me some question in the comments. Remember to leave a like and subscribe for the next part. I know you want to know what's going to happen next. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and remember that I'm proud of you and I believe in you, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!